Smith Wesson M P. I wonder how many people have messaged me and asked me to do a review or to shoot the M P Smith Wesson. Quite a few hundred, I think. Well, I finally have one. Hickok 45 here, remember me? At the Hickok compound. Got my hands on an M P 40C. That's what this baby is right here. Let you take a look at it if you want to. Many of you have seen them for certain. In fact, you know a little bit about them, and that's one reason you have been asking me to shoot one, get my hands on one. And I have had it in the back of my mind. I've checked them out. Every time I'm at a gun show, I kind of check things out. And I think I've told several people on YouTube and communications that it is one of the guns that that does seem to be most like the Glock in some ways that I find attractive. And I've just made a mental note of that whenever I've picked one up and just felt the grip and how it looked and everything, and have wanted to do that. You know, these guns are all expensive, of course, and it's not easy to get your hands on guns all the time, but do a pretty good job of it one way or the other. But this one actually, Clear Twisted Cross, Paul is the guy's name, but his YouTube channel is Clear Twisted Cross. He, you know, he's the winner of our parody, Hickok 45 parody contest that we held. And in fact, I think I have that video in my favorites, so you may have seen that already. He offered to come up and just let me use his at some point. This is the gun he used in that parody. You know, he didn't have a Glock 27, he had this, and so he was, you know, he was being me, and in some ways he was me better than I am me, I think. But he was using this particular gun, and he offered to bring it up sometime. We just never did work that out, and he had contacted me not too long ago and offered again. I said, yeah, maybe we can work that out. He said he was going to sell it, and before he sold it, he wanted to know if I wanted to shoot it, and I said, yeah, maybe so. And I was like, how much you asking for it, you know? And he had a very reasonable price on it, so I said, hey, tell you what, just send it to me. I'll send you a check. So anyway, this gun is mine now. And I appreciate his selling this thing to me. It's actually a pretty nice little gun, I have to say. So just a couple of things about it. This is the first video. I've shot it a couple of magazines before that, and that's it. The sights seem to be right on where I like to hold. And you know, so we'll see. I haven't shot it much at all, about 4 magazines worth. Those were 2 of them you just saw there. I just have 3 mags. It came with 2, of course. I bought one. I have a really hard time shooting a gun, and particularly in a video, if I don't have at least 3 magazines. I prefer 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, right? But because you know, Hickok 45 is, he shoots more ammo than he probably should. The gun initially feels pretty good. One thing I like about this gun, and I've noticed that when I've picked them up at gun shows, and I can rake my hand over that thing, and there's nothing that I catch my hand on. You know, again, it's clear, but you know, it's like a Glock in that sense, isn't it? It's just smooth. It's pretty dehorned. I use that word a lot. I'm assuming you know what that means. There's no edges on it, no levers and gizmos that you catch your hand on much. It's really dehorned, and that's one of the primary characteristics that I look for, especially in a small gun. As I've said before in earlier videos, when I was looking at the XD, whenever that was, back in the spring or summer, if the smaller a gun is, the harder I am to please. If it's a big old range gun, you know, if it feels good, shoots well, sticking a big old outside the waistband holster, so what? If it's got a slide lock that sticks out a little too much or some things like that, as long as they're not in the way. Not as big a deal perhaps, but the smaller you get, the more likely you are to want to put it in an inside the waistband holster, or it's more of a carry gun. Yeah, I get very particular, and so it's interesting, and it's appropriate that my first M&P to look at and shoot would be this gun. And in a later video I'll compare it with some of the Glocks, more a side-by-side sort of thing. Today I just want to kind of look at this. And some of you may be looking at this and you're not interested in how it compares with a SR9 or SR9C or a Glock 26 or a Glock 27 or anything else, but you'd like to know a little bit more about the gun perhaps and how it shoots and what I think about it. Well, got a stainless steel slide, so that's kind of interesting, even though it's a black, and it breaks down like a Glock. That back's got a lever over here on the side, much like the XD, I guess. I've noticed it wants to a couple of times It wants to come back on me. There we go. The trigger slide comes off, and does that remind you of any other firearms design? There you go, 40 Smith & Wesson, and you know, this is a 40 caliber, of course, 40C. Looks very familiar. There's a firing pin block and all that in there. Take a good look at that. And again, it's rather dehorned. You know, that's an important quality for me. It's a nice gun. It's well made, has nice lines. That should look familiar too. If you've seen the inside of a Glock, this is very similar, and that's a compliment. You know, that's a compliment. It really is. So now you do notice I stuck Talon grips on it, especially on these small guns. I like the sandpaper tape, you know, and I just customize them, do a little scissors work, and I get something on there to where it feels. I mean, it feels like 100% better to me on any gun, and especially with the little guns, so I can get a really good grip. Okay, so Smith & Wesson M P 40C. Let's put it back together. And I'm looking forward to shooting it. I've not really done much shooting at all, as I said. So let's see how it goes. I'll tell you a couple things already. I can tell. Trigger is very light. It reminds me of the Ruger SR9C that I have and that I shot in the video. And we'll do some more shooting with it. But the trigger is very, very light. It's sweet. It really is. Maybe too sweet for a carry gun, but it's really sweet. So let's put some more ammo in this thing and take a couple shots. Now, you know, if you are familiar with the videos, I don't like extensions on the magazines. This one doesn't have it. I don't remember, is that the one? I think it comes with one with extensions, one without, and then the only one I could find to buy had them on it, I believe is the way it is. But I don't like extensions, so this is my favorite magazine, but I just have these three. That's all I have, and I didn't have any flush plates to put on there. If I were to keep the gun, that's what I would do. First thing is get rid of those. So I just try to keep my fingers off of them for now. So let's just take a couple shots. We'll shoot some stuff here close by and out there on the other hill too. And then I'll have to reload after about 30 shots or fewer, depending on whether I have the magazines stuffed full. One thing also, I have one of my Glock 29 or Glock 30 holsters. I discovered the slide's a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker, and it doesn't fit in a Glock 27 holster very well. So I've just got it in a Don Hume pancake style holster there for a Glock 29 or 30. And it fits pretty well because it's a little thicker than the 27 or 26. Whew, it's about freezing as far as the temperature. And I'm shooting a gun that I've not shot much. I can't think of any other excuses, but I'll try and come up with some. All right. All right, I love it. Nice. Oh, I didn't bring my magazines with me. I actually have a magazine pouch on in case I go off hiking here to shoot. So. Okay. I think I need to hold on the bottom of those plates. Yeah. Looks like right on the bottom is where the sights need to be. Let's try that again. Okay, I think I kind of got that figured out. This is, of course, this is live reality shooting. I'm discovering as I go. I have not shot this thing much, and so you're kind of involved in figuring it out with me. Seems pretty reliable, no malfunctions yet. And the trigger is pretty sweet, I have to say. That's one aspect of the gun I will not be able to use as an excuse, because it's right where you'd like a target pistol, to tell you the truth. It might be a little too light for me. I'm not sure I'd want to carry a gun with that light of trigger. This particular model does not have a thumb safety, by the way. I believe the M P comes with, some of them come with thumb safeties. You can get them either way, I think, like a 1911 thumb safety. It does have the ambidextrous mag release, what I'm trying to say. Yeah, mag release and slide lock. Kind of interesting. It's got on both sides there. Yeah, actually it does. I'll get this thing figured out in a minute. It has an ambidextrous slide lock. It does not have an ambidextrous mag release. Now it may be reversible, I'm not sure. Looks like it might be. It looks exactly the same on both sides. If you're a lefty, I would imagine Smith has one that you could probably get for that, or I don't think that one looks like it's necessarily reversible. It does have replaceable back straps. I didn't bring the box out. It is a used gun, but it has a couple extra sizes, and I didn't change that out. I wasn't sure until I shot this a while whether I wanted to change it, so we'll see. So I think I know where to hold, at least close up here. So let's maybe reach out a little bit, do a little hunting, see if we can figure out where to hold it across the hillside over there. Maybe even Mr. Gong would like to receive a little 180 grain 40 caliber lead today. All right. Smith Wesson M P 40C stainless steel slide. All right, let's bear down here. Okay, got it figured out. I need to hold up on the gong just a little bit in order to hit it. Woo. Of course, still have to get a good trigger break. Learning where to hold is just half of it, right? There we go. Okay. Let's try a couple animals, see where we need to hold. Okay. Woo, finally. I'm going to have to load him up a little more here and try that again, aren't I? I don't know if that was me or if that was the, I don't know, that trigger. Trigger seems to have a nice break on it, and I'm not so sure about that. So let's just get some more ammo loaded up here. Again, this is just my first impression, getting used to the gun and the trigger. Would have thought that I would have been able to roll those animals without any trouble with that type of trigger, because it's a sweetie, it really is. If I didn't know better, I'd almost swear those rounds were going somewhere other than where I was aiming and actually breaking the trigger, but I wouldn't say that. That's a little bit of a stretch this early in the game. So let's load up the 3 mags and bear down again. I thought I was joking when I was talking about it being cold and having a different gun in my hand and needing an alibi. So let's try again. I'm going to take my time. I don't want to make the gun look like it's inaccurate or something. We all know that that's mostly the shooter, the operator. All right. Yeah, I mean, unless sometimes you can get an ammo that just doesn't fit. This is the Federal Champion, I get at Walmart, so it's not exactly premium ammo, but it's always proved pretty accurate for me. Okay, let's pick up with the ram there. Let's knock a couple of those guys down at least. All right, I'm going to make sure I get some good trigger breaks here so I don't make this gun look bad. Yeah, it's okay. That was me. That was me, obviously. I'll take a couple more. I'm not going to try to knock all the animals down necessarily. I just want to make sure that wasn't the gun. Yeah, okay. Let's go from the holster here a time or two. Just get a feel. I got a couple of rounds left. That's enough to give me an initial impression of the gun. Feels pretty good. In fact, I think it recoils a little bit less than the, say, the Glock 27, and we'll do some more comparisons with those in another video. But it does have a slightly heavier slide and a little bit bigger, so it's pretty sweet to shoot. So if I don't think it's quite as snappy as the 27, but we need to get them both out at the same time. Pretty reliable and a really sweet trigger. I don't know what was going on with me on that first pig I was shooting at. That's life, isn't it? What I probably should have done, and I think I've seen people do this, was start complaining about the gun and maybe made a big deal about how inaccurate this gun is. But it wasn't that. It was me trying to shoot too fast or just getting a bad trigger break. You know, everything is in your trigger release. It really is. You new shooters, if you're getting bad groups, you got to just stop, slow down, get a cup of, well, not coffee maybe, but slow down, take a break, and then just, get that thing lined up and take your time and squeeze that trigger and get yourself back in the zone. And so anyway, back to the gun. It was fine. I kind of like it. I think I was correct in my impression, seeing these things around, that this is one of the guns that is the closest to a Glock in a lot of ways. Like I said, it's clear. Very dehorned, a nice feel, a nice look. It's not gigantic or anything. It's a little bigger than the baby Glocks, but feels pretty good in the hand. The grip feels good. Got an incredible trigger, very, very light. Nice sights. You know, so there's not a lot to hate about this gun initially. Really not. It's a lot like a Glock, is my first impression. So this is the 40 caliber and 40 M&P, well, M&P 40C it's called, is the official model, and this one does not have the thumb safeties. So that's what I have in my hand. So anyway, first impressions, my first shoot with this thing, feels pretty good. Then can't think of any major negatives with it at all. So I'll shoot it some more before we do another video and just carry it around the farm and do some zombie hunting with it or whatever. And I'll just develop a better feel for the gun and maybe give you some more impressions later and compare with some of the other Gaston wonders. How's that? So I'm glad you guys could come out on this cold day. I hope you had your muffs on because it is chilly. So life's good at the compound.